Welcome back to the Shluchim technology toolkit. Today you won't be able to get to see my pretty face. Instead, we'll be looking at the screen. And what you see open in front of you is one of the main screens you will consistently be looking at in your Pipedrive. If you'll notice here, we have the four steps in our pipeline, in our sales pipeline. The first one is potential. The second one is relationship in progress. The third one is ripe. And the fourth one is asked. And as I explained before, you should have far fewer people in asked than in ripe, fewer people in ripe than in rip, and fewer people in rip than in potential. One thing you'll see here that you should never, ever, literally never, ever see in a live deal. These are all fake. I just imported some random data so I can show this to you. But you see these yellow buttons, these yellow things? In my opinion, yellow is the only thing which is absolutely evil inside of Pipedrive. And I'll explain this soon. But right now I just want to show you around and explain to you how this basically works. If you remember, we said that the funnel turns people from potential till they're finally a finished customer, a customer who is actually giving us money. Let's take it Thomas Booth. Thomas Booth is a person, and in Pipedrive he is also what we call a deal. A deal means a potential to make money. And for whatever reason, we've decided that the Thomas Booth deal is worth $1,000. That's how much we think we're going to ask him for. And what I wanted to point out to you and show you how this works, and one of the reasons why I believe this is best-in-class software, is first of all, it's very visual. You can see very clearly where each deal is in terms of our pipeline. Number two, it's very easy. When we're dealing with Thomas Booth, we can drag him. And as I told you, we got to make a decision. Are we going to lose him? Which again does not mean lost forever. It could be we won him right away in the potential for some way. There's different ways. Maybe they just walked over and gave us a check. Do we win him? Or do we move him to the next step? And now you'll see he is now a relationship in progress. So as I said, the three things we're keeping track of, the first one is where is any specific donor holding in our cultivation process. At this point, we've decided that Thomas Booth moved from being a potential donor to being somebody who's a relationship in progress. The second important thing, as we mentioned, is what am I hoping to get from this donor? For Thomas Booth, we know we're hoping to get $1,000. And the third most important thing, and this is why these yellows are terrible, terrible, terrible. I cannot emphasize that enough for you. The only reason they exist here is because I have not created any activities for any of these fake customers. So what these yellows mean is please create an activity for me now. What is the next thing I am going to be doing with Thomas Booth? And the answer is I'm going to click right here and it tells me schedule an activity. Once again, one of the reasons I believe that Pipedrive is so phenomenal is because it keeps you focused on activity. You must always know what is your next activity. So we're going to go ahead and schedule an activity for him, and let's say it's going to be a phone call. As I said, it's not only good enough to know what the activity is, but when the activity is going to take place. And I'm going to schedule this phone call because he told me he's going away. I'm going to schedule this phone call for September 19th, which I think may be on Yom Tov, so maybe it's not a good idea, but you get the point. I can even schedule a specific time. Probably a good idea to have certain time when you make these type of phone calls in your day. So then I'd schedule it within that time frame, but you can also skip the time. I could take some notes about this phone call. He asked me to find out about his cousin's yard site. Okay, so now I've got that note available, and awesome. I'm going to save it. Now here's the beautiful thing. I don't have to think about that ever again. It's out of my brain. I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly when I need to do it. And it's out of my brain and into the system. You're going to wonder, where did it go in the system? And there it is, right at the bottom. You see that gray? That's beautiful. Gray represents an activity that's going to happen in the future, which means I don't have to think about it. That's why they make it gray. Okay? Now, had I planned this activity for some time in the past, that gray will no longer look gray, it'll be red. I promise you this, red is not good because it's in the past. That means I didn't do what I needed to do on time. But I promise you, red is 10 times better than yellow. Because with red, at least I know what I need to do. Yellow is evil. I'm going to say it 100 times throughout this course. Yellow, yellow, never, 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 never. We hate yellow because yellow means I don't know what I need to do. If I don't know what I need to do, that means that guy is completely lost in my process. There's nothing for me to do. I don't know what it is, and that means that I'm not focusing on what is my objective. How am I going to move Thomas from one space to the next till he finally becomes a donor? Now, had I scheduled Thomas for today, he would be green. So greens mean I need to do it today. Red means I missed it, but it's still there. That's good. Gray means it's in the future. I don't have to think about it. Yellow, evil. That means I don't know what I need to do. Once again, the three most important things to keep track of is where is any specific donor in the cultivation process? Very easy. What am I hoping to get from the donor? Very easy. And what is the next action I need to take with the donor? Right there. Okay? Beautiful. This is one reason why I believe Pipedrive is so powerful. Another one, and this is one of the things I really love, is let's go ahead and say that I made this phone call. Okay? And I took a couple more notes. Wants me to blah, 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 blah. Actually, I'm going to keep those notes for the next step. Anyhow, I have all these notes, yada, 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 and I'm going to mark it as done because I just did it. I just got off the phone with him. I mark it as done. I'm going to save it. Pipedrive says, dude, you must know what your next activity is. Just because you finished an activity doesn't mean you can pat yourself on the back. You need to, at this moment, decide, what do I do next? It could be another phone call. It could be a meeting that we've already established during that phone call. We can actually create things up here that are our own, that are custom. For example, invite for Shabbos, bring a gift, go to Sheikh Lulav and Esrog, whatever it is that you have as a regular thing, we can create them, custom create them. These are just the typical ones. Maybe it's go for lunch, maybe it's to send a specific email. You take the notes of what you need to do with that email, and we're going to schedule an email. Why not? And we're going to schedule that for Thursday, and beautiful. Guess what? There he is again with a gray. I don't have to think about him again until Thursday, and then my system's going to remind me. So one place where we spend a lot of time is in the deals page. This gives us the health of our basic campaign. We want to know that we have a lot of people under the potential. We want to know that we're moving people from potential to relationship in progress. We want to know that we know what to do with each of these people, that we're moving them forward to the ripe, and that once they're ripe, that they go ahead and they have been asked. And we want to move them forward from one to the next to the next. Sometimes skipping a space in the middle. That can happen sometimes. But the point is we know where they are. We know what we're hoping to get from them. And we know, most importantly, I will say it again, what is the next action? When am I going to do it? And I don't have to think about it until that day comes up. The other place where we want to spend a lot of time is in the activities page. The activities page is going to be set up for us primarily by what is scheduled for us to do right now. You'll see here we've got a red. That means something that was in the past. We have something black. That's something for the future. That means I don't have to worry about it right now. That's all fine. But had I had something for today, first of all, I could just click on today and they will show me only what happened and what's supposed to happen today. You can click on any of these things, but another place where you really want to spend a lot of time is in the activity section. Deal section shows us the health of our pipeline, and activity section keeps us focused on what I need to get done today. That's where we're going to be spending a lot of time. I just wanted to show you that. And next, I'm going to actually help you set up your Pipedrive.